Hi guys and welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this gingerbread loaf cake. Let's begin. To get started on the recipe, you'll want to make the cake. So to make the cake, grab yourself a saucepan and into it place your butter, your light brown sugar, your golden syrup and your black treacle, and melt that over a medium heat on the hob. Melt until everything is melted and then start to stir it so it doesn't catch on the bottom. Once you've got a liquid mixture, you'll then want to set it aside and allow it to cool just a little before you intend to use it. Into another bowl, place your milk and your egg and whisk together until they are fully combined. Then set aside, and then into another large mixing bowl, you can go ahead and place in your dry ingredients, passing them through a sieve first just to remove any lumps that may be in the dry mix. So once you've got your saucepan of ingredients and your two bowls, you are good to go. Make sure that the hot mixture is cooled down, otherwise it will ruin the recipe. So then you can go ahead and steadily add in the milk a little at a time until it's fully incorporated. Then pour the liquid mixture into the dry mixture and mix everything until it's fully incorporated and combined. You can do this by using a whisk or a spatula. I find a whisk best, but you can use a spatula. Just mix until it's fully incorporated, being careful not to over mix the mixture. Give the bowl a good scraping down just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Then you can grab your loaf pan and line it with some parchment paper or these paper cases that you can pick up anywhere. Then pour in your cake batter and get as much in there as possible. It may look like it's going to rise right to the top, but don't worry, it does rise but not that much, but it's still a nice light cake. And then just level it off a little bit using your palette knife or spatula, whichever you're using. You can then go ahead and place this into your preheated oven and bake it off. All of that information will be on the blog post, which will be linked down below. To get started on the gingerbread, you'll want to take a small bowl, and into the bowl place your light brown sugar and your egg and whisk the two together until they are fully combined. It will end up with a sloppy looking kind of brown mixture. Don't worry, this is perfect. Set it aside until you need it a little later on. Then into the bowl of a food processor, you can go ahead and place in your dry ingredients and just pulse them together until they are fully combined. You can whisk them by hand beforehand before you put them in and save doing this step, but I like to do it all in the food processor just to make things a bit easier. Once combined, you can then add in all of your butter, spreading it around the food processor just so it's all a bit more distributed, and pulse until it comes together. You don't want it to come fully together, it will be more of a breadcrumby sandy consistency, and that's what you're looking for. Then you can go ahead and add in the egg and sugar mixture and get as much of that in there as possible. It may not look like a lot, or it may even look too much, but don't worry, it's the perfect amount that will bring the dough together. Pulse it all together until it's fully combined. By combined, I mean that it's worked in and it's not fully come together as a dough. For the dough to come together, you'll want to add in all of your golden syrup. Although it's not a lot, it will bring the dough perfectly together. Pulse that in until it's fully incorporated, and as soon as it starts to mix in, you'll notice that the dough starts to form. You'll want to work it together a little bit, but not too much. Just enough for you to place it onto a work surface, give it a brief knead and bring it into a round shape. That's what you're looking for. So place your dough onto your floured surface and just bring it all together with as minimal mixing as possible, as you don't want to overwork the dough. If you do, the gluten will form too much and it will have a tough texture. Seeing as the dough is pretty firm and doesn't need to go in the fridge, you can roll it out straight away, and you'll want to roll it to about 5mm give or take. And once you've achieved that, you can then go ahead and start to cut out your gingerbread men. I'm just using this small gingerbread man cutter, but feel free to use whatever cutter you like. It doesn't even have to be gingerbread man, but it's a gingerbread, so anything gingerbread is okay. Repeat the process until you have used up all of your dough. You can re-roll it once and then I recommend not using it anymore, otherwise the gluten will be overworked. You can freeze these once they're baked, they bake off perfectly. Here is a full tray, and that was around 2 rolls of my dough. Once I got that, I baked them off, and the ones I didn't use, I placed in a bag into the freezer. So while your cake and gingerbread are baking, you can go ahead and make the buttercream. So into a saucepan, place your sugar and water, and mix the two together until they are fully combined. Place on the hob over a medium-high heat, and grab yourself a mixing bowl, and into the mixing bowl place your egg yolks and whole egg, and just whisk the living life out of this until it's tripled or quadrupled in volume, and it should be much paler in colour. That's what you're looking for. Once you've achieved the consistency you want for both of the sugar and the egg mixtures, you can go ahead and turn the speed down and slowly and carefully add in that boiling mixture into the egg. Then crank your speed up and turn it up and whisk until it's fully cooled to the touch, so you use the back of your hand to touch the bottom of the bowl. If it's not cooled, don't try and add your butter, otherwise you'll end up with a soupy mess. Then you can add your butter bit by bit. You don't want to add too much in one go, otherwise you may find the mixture doesn't come together, but you'll notice it thickens up very quickly and you get this lovely buttercream that's very buttery and very rich. Adding your vanilla and whisk until fully incorporated. Then once you've got everything made and ready, you can then go ahead and start the decorating process. So grab your loaf and just remove the loaf paper or the parchment paper, whatever you've used, and then top the cake with the buttercream. And again, as I said, the buttercream is very rich, but it works perfectly with this cake, as if you give the cake a day or two to mature, it just tastes even better. Spread the buttercream all over the top of the cake, ensuring an even coverage all over. Then I'll use this little squiggly line. It's something I learned at work, and it makes it look a bit more, better to show once you add on the gingerbread or whatever toppings you're using. I just add on either 6 or 7 gingerbread people, and that's what works for me. But again, you do what works for you. And then I sprinkle over some of the crystallized ginger. This is just to enhance that ginger flavour in the cake. I know not a lot of people love ginger, but I find it really nice. And these sprinkles are the ones that I brought at Cake International this year, and they was more expensive, but it works out cheaper to buy them there. So again, you can use whatever sprinkles and whatever toppings you like. You can leave it just like this, but I find adding something on top really enhances the flavour, the texture and the appearance of the cake. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more from me, and I'll be back again soon with another recipe, so join me then. In the meanwhile, don't forget to check out the description. There'll be a link to this recipe, a link to my blog, and links to all of my social media, so don't forget to go and follow me over on there, as I am trying to be a little bit more active during the month of December. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.